Hello, good morning. Welcome. Hi, Rory. Um, Hope all of you are doing well. And as you can see, I'm in another location today. I'm really outside. Unfortunately, I kind of forgot to charge my laptop to a full charge before coming out here. So there's a possibility the class might be cut off. We should have at least an hour or so, but maybe that will be more motivation for me to actually keep it at an hour like a lot of people have requested anyway. So yeah, as always, please say hi in the chat if you're able to, and always leave comments. And this week, so I had a request for hip openers, so we'll focus on that. I also wanted to talk a little bit about hip openers first. So what hip openers do is they lengthen your hip flexors. Kind of bear with me here because anatomy isn't really my strong suit. Like the science and everything, I should really get better at it. But so your hip flexors are these. It's kind of a tendon and a muscle in the front of your hips. And so when you do the hip openers, you're going to be lengthening them. They can get tight if you do a lot of sitting, like most of us do for work. And also if you do a lot of running or bike riding. And what that can do, if they're tight and they shorten, then it kind of causes your pelvis to tilt forward, which can put a strain on your lower back. So one of the reasons we do hip openers is to help our lower back, to help with lower back pain. But of course, like everything in your body is connected. So it will also affect your glutes, and it affects this whole area going up from the bottom of your spine to your neck. So if you have tight hips, strange as it may sound, that can also give you neck pain. I think especially on the back of your neck. So yeah. Hi Mia, good morning. So I always try to do at least some hip openers. It's all just part of the yoga practice. But I'll just throw a little extra in there, and I just sort of wanted to explain why that might be important, even for people who don't really feel like they have a problem with their hips, because it affects your whole body, really. So let's get started. Rory, last time you said you couldn't see my feet. Can you see my entire mat right now? Can everyone see the whole mat? Let me know, and I can make an adjustment if you can't. It rained here last night, so it's a little wet out here, but fortunately yoga mats are waterproof. So. Good, so let's actually start standing today. And mountain pose is a really good place to just check your alignment and kind of notice that pelvic tilt that I was talking about. So first, just ground yourself, ground your feet, hip distance apart or big toes touching. Rock from back to forth, from side to side, spread your toes wide just so you really feel a connection with the earth or with the floor or the mat. Oh, also let me know if you're having any trouble hearing me. There's a very excited bird right behind me, so hopefully you can hear me over the bird. But so just finding a firm foundation and just scanning up from your feet. Make sure that your knees are always slightly bent. And also, this is all connected. Even your knees are connected to this part of your body around your hips. Because if you notice, if you are locking your knees backwards tilt, a posterior tilt. And what we want to achieve is sort of a neutral tilt. So for most of us, that means kind of bringing the pelvis forward, the front of the pelvis forward, and bringing your tailbone down. If your knees are slightly bent and not locked, it just makes that a lot easier. So we don't want to go too far. We don't want to be kind of slouching in this way. Just think of having a long tailbone, just a long body. And if you bring your belly in and up, that can also help support this whole area here with your tailbone and your lower back. Let's see if there's a comment. Hey, Sarah, good morning. Good. Okay. Hopefully all of our pelvises are tilted to the perfect position right now. No one's ever going to be perfect, but just feel comfortable, like your spine is long. Belly in, rib cage open, shoulders back and down, chest open, neck long, chin parallel to the floor or to the ground, if anyone else happens to be outside right now. And just start to notice your breath. Noticing how your body moves with each inhalation and exhalation. Expanding and lengthening as you inhale, and softening and releasing as you exhale. And then if you aren't uncomfortable with this, I would really encourage you to breathe with sound using the Ujjayi ocean breath. So closing your mouth, breathing through your nose, inhaling, exhaling with sound. So closing off the back of your throat as if you're whispering or fogging up glass or a mirror, but with your mouth closed. So really just starting to center into your breath. And exhale, dropping your hands to your sides, palms facing out, really bringing your shoulders back and down. And now starting to move with your breath, intentional movement with your breath. So inhaling the arms up. And again, Sarah, watch your shoulder. Maybe only do it on one side, or just be very gentle with that, with your injured side. So inhaling up, exhaling down. And just with that idea of lengthening and opening as you inhale, and releasing and softening as you exhale. If you want, you could kind of get your neck into this movement. If it doesn't bother your neck, maybe look up towards your thumbs as you inhale, and just look down towards the floor or the earth as you exhale. Taking long, deep inhalations and complete exhalations. Remember, pay attention to your pelvic tilt. Good, and this time at the top of your inhalation, clasping your hands, index fingers pointing up. Really lengthen, feeling a stretch through your rib cage, feeling your core really engage and stretch. And just reach to one side and look to the opposite side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, extend the bend, I guess. But you always want to be keeping both sides of your body long, so avoid collapsing into this side. Keep that length. Inhale and exhale, reach. So yeah, if you really think of reaching and also really grounding the foot on the opposite side of the reach, that's the idea that you want to have to keep that length. Good. Inhale back to center. Change the clasp of your hands so the dominant thumb is underneath. And exhale in the opposite direction. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, extend. Good. Inhale back to center. And now go ahead, take your strap if you have one. It's not necessary, it's just recommended. A strap or any kind of, like a belt or a scarf. And finding your mountain pose, making sure everything's aligned properly, your knees are soft. Inhale, strap up and gently drop it behind you. Or Sarah, just do what you can. I don't know how the mobility of your shoulder is at this point, because I know you said it's the strength, you're building strength in it right now. I don't know how much you're able to move. But I think you probably know your limits right now. So of course, don't re-injure it by doing this. Exhale, drop your head. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, draw the belly in. Inhale, and exhale. And inhale, and exhale. Just kind of movement, like when you see a movie and someone gets up out of their bed in the morning, ready to greet the day. It's just a really nice way to open your upper body, kind of wake it up. And drawing in nice clean air, getting rid of any stale air from the previous day or some other things. Good. Inhale, arms over your head, and exhale, pulling with one arm to reach the other arm up, feeling a nice stretch through your rib cage and your armpit. You can look up, kind of in the same direction as your raised arm. And other side. Make sure you keep your neck long. Good, and now just free movement. If you want to get into any tightness in your back or neck or hips, then now's a great time to do it. Good. And actually, we're going to hold on to the strap while we're standing here with the strap. We're going to do kind of a hip opener and balancing exercise. So step whichever foot you want. I don't know if you want to mirror me or do the same side that I am. But step a foot into the strap. Make sure the strap is around the ball of your foot, and then just pull your foot up. We haven't really warmed up our lower body that much, so be very gentle. Don't force it. Pull it up slowly, just until you feel a nice stretch in your hamstring. And then just gently open your foot out to the side, rotating your hip outward. And it's also optional. If it's easier for you, you could just keep your knee bent and just open it up like this. So your choice. And then just move to the other side. We're not going to spend too long on this right now. Because we're not that warm yet. Just kind of seeing where you are, how it feels right now. And just doing a little balance work. Good, and release. And now just place your hands over the knees and just draw little circles with your hips and knees, drawing the belly in. So the reason I say drawing the belly in all the time is because it does really support your lower back to do that. And also, we all just kind of want to be exercising because our low belly muscles, I've found. Good. And then straighten your legs. And you can round your spine slowly. Dropping your hands towards the mat, drop your head. And just breathe into your hips and hamstrings. Keep your head dropped. And just be there, noticing how your hamstrings feel, noticing how your hips feel, noticing how your back feels. Just sending breath into all those areas. And if you want, you can grab your elbows just to add a little weight to help decompress your spine. Good, and then slowly roll up. Keeping, just like a rag doll, but keeping your back rounded, head coming up last. And inhale, reach up. Exhale. Hands to heart, drawing your energy inward. Good. I'm just gonna check, see how my battery is doing with the streaming. Okay, it's doing okay. We might actually be able to get through this class without it being cut off, so great. Good. So let's come to the front of our mats if we're not there already. The fronts of our mats. Fronts of our mats. Um, big toes touching, or if you could just apart, just as you were at the beginning of the class. And inhale, reach up. Exhale. This time, we're going to be keeping our back straight as we fold forward. So really draw your belly in, hips back, tilt your pelvis forward. And just notice how your hips are feeling here. So, the reason I think when we're tilting the pelvis forward as we fold forward, what we're really doing is again just bringing the pelvis into a neutral position and kind of because like what we tend to do, especially if we have tight hip flexors, when we fold forward, is to really round our lower back, and we're kind of like unconsciously tilting the pelvis back and kind of going like this to fold forward. But if we think of tilting the pelvis forward a little bit, we're actually bringing it into a more neutral position, and it kind of gives us more length kind of everywhere. So just make sure you still keep your knees slightly bent. Keep your back as long and straight as possible. And then just drop your head. So it is going to be a little bit rounded. It can't be completely straight unless you're like just super flexible. But yeah, just see how that feels. I know that I feel like I really notice this hip a lot when I'm folding forward like this and trying to keep my back straight. So don't push anything too far, and if you need to, you can keep your knees really bent and just bring your page to back and drop your head. But kind of try to think of having your rib cage sort of glued to your thighs, whether you're bending your knees or not. Good. And inhale, look forward, drawing the belly in, and exhale, fold. And inhale, look forward, and exhale, fold. And inhale, look forward. And it's also really normal for your for one side to feel tighter than the other one. For me, it's my whole left leg and hip is much tighter than my right. And I don't really know why. It probably has something to do with just some kind of posture that I have adjusted to just in regular life. Or maybe I'd be interested if one side is tighter than the other. Like, is that your is it the opposite of your dominant hand that's tight? Or it could be, I also have scoliosis, so it could be a lot of things, but whatever, it's normal. So. Good. And inhale, look forward. Exhale, plant your hands, and come onto your hands and knees. And look down at your hands. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. Toes touch under, wrists aligned under the shoulders, and knees aligned under. And preparing for cat and cow. So this is a really great place to practice our pelvic tilt. Inhale. So really tilting the pelvis forward. So you're bringing a curve into your lower back. Hips come up, opening the chest. And then exhale. Tilt the pelvis back, lengthen the spine, round the spine, and draw the belly in. Look down between your knees. And inhale, look forward, open the chest. And exhale, round the spine, draw the belly in. And inhale. And exhale, just moving with your own breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. If you exhale, also really bring in your belly and the pelvic floor. And inhale. So when I say engage the pelvic floor, I mean if your kegel muscles are the equivalent if you're a man. Inhale. Good. And let's have you walk your hands forward. Keep the hips up and drop your chest towards the mat. And again, Sarah, watch your shoulder in this one. This is a shoulder opener. And breathe. Good. Coming back onto your hands and knees. Inhale. Raise the left leg, left arm out. And just find a neutral pelvic position. So actually, this is another tilt of the pelvis. The pelvis also tilts from side to side. So you want your pelvis and your hips to be square, so neutral, not tilting to either side. And you can look down, keep your neck long. And exhale, release. Inhale, other side. Just finding that neutral position with your hips. And exhale, release. And straighten back into downward dog. And again, make sure that your fingers are spread wide. Keep your shoulders away from your ears, chest open, and just bring your heels towards the mat. And if your heels are really not coming towards the mat, it could be that you have short Achilles tendons, like I do. But it also could be that your feet are just too far away from your hands. And another sign of that happening is your hands are really slipping forward. So you might want to just experiment with just taking a slightly shorter or like bringing your feet a little closer to your hands and see how that feels. And breathe. You just as long as your upper body is long and you're really getting a nice stretch through your hamstrings. So lengthening as you exhale. And just as you inhale, just filling your lungs with air. Good. Inhale your right leg up. Come forward. And step it through. And drop your left knee. And so now we're coming into our first real hip stretch. Breathing into your left hip flexor. You should really feel it stretching here and lengthening. And inhale, exhale. Bring your hips back and forward. So we're just taking a break we're kind of doing like getting two stretches in one here by taking a break from the hip stretching and folding over our right leg to stretch that hamstring. Good, and inhale forward, stretching your left hip flexor. And exhale back and forward. Good, inhale, come forward, raise your left knee, and then come back into plank position. And let's get ready for our first Vinyasa. Actually, after we hold plank a little while, just building strength here. And if you can always drop your knees if you need to. If you have wrist problems, you can always do a forearm plank. Drawing the belly in, pushing your heels away from you to keep your legs engaged. You can even move if you want to, and that's what makes it more fun. And bring your elbows in. Exhale, come all the way down onto the mat. Flip your feet. Just stretching the tops of your feet. Bring your forehead down to lengthen your neck. And just come up baby cobra. So you really don't want to be pushing with your hands at this point. It's just a baby cobra. Just make sure your shoulder's away from your ear. Your chest is coming forward, is open. And even maybe just lift your hands up to make sure that you're not using your hands so much. And then exhale, keep your toes under, bring the elbows in, and press back down with dog. Good. And inhale your left leg up and step it through. Drop your right knee and breathe. And actually, I think one of the things that tends to make my classes go on so long is because I do so much talking about alignment. So let me know in the comments or in the chat, do you like all the talk about alignment, or would you just prefer that we sort of like get on with it and move a little faster and kind of make the class shorter? Is it helpful for you? Could it be a little bit less, but like some alignment talk? Just let me know. And inhale, exhale, come back and forward. Good. Inhale, come forward. Breathe into your hip. And exhale, come back, fold. Good. Inhale, come forward. Straighten the right leg, and we're just going to step to the side of the mat. Look ahead of you, flat back, and exhale, fold. And inhale, hands on your waist, draw the belly in, support, and come all the way up. Reach up, and exhale, hands to heart. Okay, so now we're going to do sun salutations. We kind of already did a sun salutation, just really slowly. We're gonna start to build up more heat now. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, plant your hands. Step back, plank. Hold in here for a breath or two. our strength in this pose. And exhale, come all the way down with your feet. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under, press back, downward dog. And inhale. And exhale, this time stepping to the outer edge of your mat. And this is kind of an even more intense stretch. Lizard pose for your hip flexor. So just coming onto your forearms or onto a block, or you can just stay up like this, just taking a few breaths into your hip. Good, and not too long there. Inhale. We're still trying to get our heart rate up a little bit. Come back into plank. Exhale, come all the way down. Lengthen your neck. Inhale, cobra, head coming up last. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Press back, downward dog. Inhale, breathing with sound. Step to the outer edge of your mat. Lizard pose. And come onto your elbows if you're able to, otherwise just breathing into your hips. Good. Inhale, come back up. Step back, plank. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Press back, downward dog. And inhale the right leg up. And open the knee out to the side. Just opening up your hips there. And look between your hands, come forward. Step it through. Take a moment to find your balance. Make sure your hips are aligned, squared down evenly on as opposed to the mat. And press up. High lunge. Press your back heel away from you. Inhale the arms up. And make sure that you just feel like you have a nice, you have length all the way from the tips of your fingers to your toes, your back toes. So again, pay attention to your pelvic tilt here. So try not to be too extreme in either direction. It really helps to engage your core because that will bring your hips into a more neutral position, keeping the body long. And if you press your back heel away from you, then you're really engaging this leg as well as your back leg as well as your front leg. Good. Just building heat here, building strength. And inhale, lengthen, exhale, cartwheel down. Inhale, open up to the right side. Right arm up, left hand down. And exhale, reach way forward. Bring your hands onto the mat. Set back plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under. And press back downward dog. And breathe. Good. Inhale, open your left leg out to the side, stacking your hips. And look between your hands. Step the left leg through. Take a moment to align your hips. And come up. High lunge. Pressing the back heel away from you. Engaging your core. Long lines. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, right hand down, left arm up, twisting. Inhale, exhale, extend. Bring your hand down and step right foot forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come all the way up. And exhale. Good. Preparing for chair, so salutation B. So sit back. You can bring your arms back and just sweep your arms up and then sit back. Make sure you can see your toes, so that tells you that your knees are behind your toes. And just take a moment here to adjust the tilt of your pelvis. See what feels good. Draw the belly in, engage your pelvic floor. Staying in this pose, building heat, building strength. Good. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to your heart. And twist left elbow to right thigh. Look over your right shoulder. Good. And from here, look down at the floor. Shift your weight onto your right foot. And step your left foot back low. And then keep twisting. Good. Look down at the floor again. And step forward. Back into chair. Good. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Maybe sit a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist. Right elbow to left thigh. Press your hands towards the center of your chest. Breathing deeply. Good. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Look down at the floor in front of you to help with your balance. And step. Oops, we can't do that. Sorry. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Step your right foot back. And staying in the twist. Maybe twisting a little deeper if you can. Really getting into your spine. Good. And look at the floor. Step your right foot forward. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, straighten your legs. Arms out to the sides and pull forward. Inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, plant your hands to arc plank. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under. Step back, downward dog. Inhale, right leg up. Again, stack your hips, open your knee out to the side. And look between your hands. Step it through. And open up right into warrior two. So fairly wide stance for this. You might be taking up almost the whole length of your mat. Try to bend as deeply as you can. So we want to come towards a 90-degree angle here. Really feeling a stretch through our inner thighs. Strong legs. Body aligned. Looking over your right fingertips. Pressing the outer edge of your left foot into the mat. Nice and strong. Keep engaging your belly, keep engaging your pelvic floor. Good, and from here, moving into side angle. So we're gonna do a variation of side angle we haven't done in a long time, but it's a a hip opener in side angle, and it's also a really good shoulder opener. So I'm gonna walk you through the steps. So here we are in modified side angle. If you can bring your hand down in front of your foot and really open your body out to the side, then go ahead. And then if you're pretty comfortable here, then you're really gonna get your shoulder down under your knee. Reach back with your right hand and see if you can clasp your hands together and open up to the side. So that's gonna kind of, especially if you're really trying to open your chest up here, then you should feel your hip opening as well. Good. Both hands back down. It's also a nice spinal twist. And just step right back in the plank pose. Breathe here. Inhale, exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under. And downward dog. Good. Inhale, the left leg up, open out to the side, stacking your hips. Breathing. And between your hands, step it through. Directly into warrior two on your left side. Engage your pelvic floor, engage your belly. Breathe. Good. And exhale. First, bring your forehead, not your forehead, your forearm onto your thigh. Really rotate your shoulders back, open your chest. Rotating from your hip as well, from your right hip here. And if you can, bring your hand down. And then you can really bring your elbow, shoulder forward. Reach back. Grab your wrist. Strap. Then just keep opening, bringing your right shoulder back. Good. And squeeze right on forward. Both hands down. And step forward, back in the chair. Sweep the arms up. Exhale, sit back. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, fold. And inhale, look forward. Hands on your waist. Come all the way up. Reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. How are we doing with time? Okay. Actually, I should check the battery life here too. Okay, we still have a little bit of time. So let's work a little bit on balance now. Hopefully we're a little warmer. I would have liked to do one more sun salutation. Maybe I'll talk less next time so that we can kind of move through more of those and get even warmer. But we are running out of time. So let's find our mountain pose again. Shift your weight onto one foot. Find a focal point on the floor for balance. And find your tree pose. Make sure you avoid your knee area. So again, you're opening your hip in tree pose. So just actually before you do anything with balancing, just kind of bring your knee out gently. You don't want to be forcing anything. Just so you can kind of get that feeling of your hip opening here. And then with your knee already out, then find your balance. And if you're really struggling with balance, then you can use a chair or a wall or something to support you, just to make sure that, because you shouldn't be sacrificing your alignment so that you can, because you're struggling so much with balance. So make sure that you're aligned properly first. Make sure that you're engaging your core muscles, and then maybe just over time, just a little bit of time, just release the chair or the wall. Good, and breathe here. And move your ankle over your knee, keeping your knee out to the side. Bend your standing foot, or your standing leg. So you're in a one-legged chair. Keep sitting back till you really feel your hip opening. And then slowly straighten the standing leg, reach towards the floor. Inhale, just look ahead of you, make sure that your hips are aligned, and exhale, fold. Good. And inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, slightly bend your knee, just sort of reversing through the movements we just did. And then inhale, slowly straighten. And both feet on the floor. Maybe shake it out. And moving to the other side. So shift your weight onto the opposite foot. Take a moment to just open your hip out, open your knee out to the side to open your hip. And then find your appropriate foot position. Staying with your breath. Good, and from here, just place your ankle over your knee. Sit back. Until you really feel your hip opening. And make sure you watch your knee too. If you start to feel a lot of strain or pain, or any pain in your knee, then just back off a little bit. Because this position where you're crossing your ankles over your knee is where it's a hip opener, but it's where like it can start maybe getting a little hard on your knee. So you just want to be aware of that. Good. And then reach towards the floor, square your hips, inhale, and then exhale, fold. Good. And inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, bend your knee. Slowly come up. And release. Shake it out. And step your feet into a wide stance, toes pointing forward or slightly in. Inhale the arms out. Exhale, clasp your hands behind you. Inhale, press your hands back. And exhale, fold. And let your hands drop behind you. Good. Inhale, slowly come up. Release the clasp of your hands. Bring your hands in line with your feet. Lengthen, look ahead of you, and exhale, fold. Bringing the top of your head towards the mat. And inhale, lengthen, look ahead of you. Rock your hands over towards one foot. Back over towards the other foot. And back to center. And heel toe your feet towards each other. Fold your mat back. If you've taken this class before, you probably know what pose is coming. Bring your knees onto the mat. Feet pointing away from each other. Frog pose. And just breathe here for a moment. And then you come down onto your elbows and you just drop your head and rest here. Breathing into your inner thighs and hips. Make sure that your knees are protected. So just extra padding under your knees. Good. Inhale, look forward, walk back onto your hands. Just bring your heels together. Come up. Unfold your mat. And walk your hands forward on your fingertips, getting a nice stretch on your back, and just drop your head. And you can round the spine here. And breathe. Good. Inhale, look ahead of you. Step back onto the mat if you are off the mat. And find your yogic squat. So just releasing your lower back. So try to sit up as much as you can. Just press your knees apart with your elbows for maximum lower back release. Still engaging the pelvic floor. Good. And sit back. And bring the soles of your feet together. I'm just making sure that I'm really aligned here, like evenly balanced between the left and right side. And then open your feet up like a book so your knees come down towards the mat. So this butterfly pose, it shouldn't be as hard on your knees as the ones where you have your one heel up like this. So hopefully it's not. So just kind of move your knees like this a little bit, just kind of feeling how your hips feel, how your knees feel. Good. And then inhale, open the chest. Exhale, place your elbows on your thighs to press your knees down. And you should only feel it in your hips. You shouldn't feel it in your knees here. If you do feel it in your knees, then of course just back off. And fold forward and drop your head. So rounding the spine. And breathe. Good. Inhale, come up. And just sort of a side note here for Rory, who requested this class. If you or anyone else that really wants to work on getting your hips open, I think what I did to get my hips open was practice lotus pose. So I've spent many years in order to actually be able to get up to the full lotus pose, and it could be a little more comfortable for me, so I'm still working on it. But what I did was I would just sit for, I don't know, like 20 minutes every day in half lotus pose. I started with one side, and then when that felt really open, I kind of would always sit in the other side, which is still not as open as the first side. But now I usually sit in full lotus when I'm meditating. And it's going to feel pretty uncomfortable at first, but if you do it like every day or even several times a week for several years, then you'll just eventually get like pretty open hips and maybe be able to bring your knees all the way to the floor like this and in this pose, if that's a goal for you. But I have to say, I virtually never have any lower back pain. So, and it's probably because of all the hip work and also all the like forward folding and hamstring lengthening things that I do. Yeah, so let's do a couple more stretches on the floor, and then we'll go down onto your backs. So bring your right foot into your inner left thigh. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, reach towards your foot or just any place you can grab on your leg. Inhale, look forward, and exhale. Just drop your head, rotate around your spine. But reach as far as you can. Or if you want to, you can use a strap. Just pull on, place a strap around your foot. And fold. Deep breathing. Really think of sending your exhalations into your hamstrings and hips. Letting those muscles soften and release. And if you really engage your legs here, like pulling your kneecaps up, then you can lengthen, since your leg will be supporting you, that will allow you to lengthen and release your hamstrings even more. Good. Inhale, look ahead of you. Exhale, release. Oh, I forgot to say another thing I do that I started doing just about a year ago. TV with my family or like eating dinner sometimes, then instead of sitting on a couch or a chair, I sit on the floor. And I think that really helps. I'll just sit on the floor. I wouldn't be in lotus pose or anything. I'll just be like this. But it's kind of, it works with this whole area. Like, if you just kind of, your hips are tilted in a different direction. And that kind of lets all of this area release a little bit more over time, even though it might feel really uncomfortable at first. So that's another thing. Like if you have a lot of lower back pain, you might want to try. Good. So other side. Inhale, reach up, and exhale. Good. Good. Inhale, look up. Exhale. And keeping the left knee bent, just bring the knee forward a little bit. Bring your right foot onto the outside of your left leg. And inhale, reach up. And exhale, twist. So you're twisting away from your foot. The right foot is over and you're twisting to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. Good. Inhale, look ahead of you. And change sides. Inhale, right arm up. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Good. Inhale, look ahead of you. And straighten both legs. And just sit up really straight. Engage both legs. Toes pointing up. Draw the belly in. Shoulders back and down. And sit here in staff pose. Just notice how engaging these muscles really helps your back. And helps you be able to sit up straight and keep a long time. Good. And then scoot forward a little bit. Grab behind your knees. Lean back. And find your boat pose. So you can stay here. So this is actually, we want to be engaging our core here, like our lower abdomen, but you'll also notice that you're going to be engaging your hip flexors. So the hip flexors are also a muscle. So this is actually a way to strengthen them. So we're strengthening them after all of that stretching. And maybe just straighten your legs. Try to keep your back as straight as possible, palms facing each other. Good. Cross your knees. Just maybe lift up. And one more. And slowly come back. Press your lower back into the mat. And hug your knees in and release. And just draw circles on the back. Good. Place your feet. Toes pointing slightly in. Feet a little bit wider distance. Inhale, exhale. Tilt your pelvis forward to lengthen your spine. And inhale. Raise your hips. And maybe clasp your hands underneath you. See if you can raise your hips even farther. And maybe if you do full wheel pose, bridge is sort of a modified version of that. If you want to go in full wheels, place your hands underneath your shoulders. Only do this if you're like familiar with it, please, because I'm not there in person to adjust you. But you can just go onto the top of your head and then press up. It's hard to talk in this pose. Just take a couple breaths and then come back down. Or if you're in wheel pose, maybe you could have done a second wheel. I mean, not wheel, bridge pose. Good. And then just again, draw a circle on your lower back. You just rock back and forth a little bit, giving your back even more of a massage, just kind of as a counter pose to that. And rock all the way up. Take your block, if you have one. Place it under your sacrum. And just bring your legs up. If you don't have a block, you can do the same thing. It's just a little bit, takes a little more work. This is kind of a more restorative version of the pose. And breathe. Good, and then slowly release. Down, remove the block, and find just your chest one more time. And before our Shavasana, let's just do a full body stretch, but reaching your arms over your head, pointing your toes. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Keep inhaling until you can't anymore. Hold your breath. Squeeze everything. Squeeze your eyes shut. Just tense every muscle in your body for a moment. And release. Release your Ujjayi breath. Going back into your regular breathing pattern and find your Shavasana. And you can continue with your hip openers in Shavasana if you bring the soles of your feet together and rest in reclined butterfly pose. Now, if you feel any pain in your knees or pinching in your hips, then you might need to just support under one or both knees with blankets or blocks. Or just, you can just stay here for as long as, as long as it's like fairly comfortable, and then come back into a regular Shavasana. Also, it can be very restorative to place a block or a bolster under your upper back, kind of between your shoulder blades, and just let your arms fall to the sides. So just choose your Shavasana pose as I do a guided relaxation. Releasing any remaining tension, releasing any thinking or planning, feeling heavy on the mat, really just melting into the earth. And relax your toes, relax your feet, relax your ankles, relax your lower legs, relax your knees, relax your upper legs, relax your hips, relax your belly, relax your chest, relax your rib cage, relax your throat, relax your shoulders, relax your upper arms, relax your elbows, relax your lower arms, relax your wrists, relax your hands and fingers, relax your tailbone, relax your lower back, relax your middle back, relax your upper back, relax your shoulder blades, relax your neck, relax your jaw, relax your tongue, relax your mouth, relax your cheeks, relax your eyes, relax your eyebrows, relax your forehead, relax your entire body. Imagine that a wave of relaxation is washing over your entire body, from your head down to the tips of your toes, and then back up your entire body to the top of your head. Feeling totally relaxed. Your body is heavy, but your spirit is light. Nothing to do, nothing to worry about. And slowly start to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing your attention back into the space around you. And whenever you're ready, raise your arms over your head, bend one knee and then the other, and slowly roll onto one side and find your way into a comfortable seated position. Yeah, and I see again this class went for pretty long. So we'll just wrap it up. I think my battery's about to die anyway. We'll just do a short loving kindness meditation. So bring your hands to your heart, comfortable seated position. Close your eyes. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free from pain. And may all beings live with ease. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me. Let me know again in the comments, like if you feel like there's too much talking, too much alignment, instruction, maybe I'll try to just write it down and send it to you before the class next time, or yeah. But just let me know about any ways I can improve the class or what you liked or didn't like about it. And thank you very much. See you next week. Have a beautiful week.